Today on Longevity Pose, we're going to be discussing why women outlive men by roughly 5 to 6 years and what can be done about it. This is also an important topic for women because this goes far beyond just that subject. But have you ever wondered why women tend to outlive men? Well, there's a handful of reasons. One of them is probably iron. Iron is an essential nutrient and it does transport oxygen via hemoglobin in red blood cells, but it does have a double-edged sword. Mindful, though, that men do accumulate iron, usually past 18 and beyond. Women, though, start to hoard iron after menopause, and that can relate to a lot of neurological diseases which tend to occur or begin in women after menopause. In any event, it's an important topic for both men and women. Approximately 1 out of every 5 people, or 20%, have a gene mutation called C28-2Y homozygous, and this causes your liver to hoard iron. This could be a huge factor in your own health. It may create the opportunity for vascular disease or microvascular disease. It could affect your ability to produce spider veins, varicose veins, hemorrhoids, and other things that you don't want. Iron, again, fuels bad bacteria, compromises the ability of phagocytes to kill microorganisms. It increases your susceptibility to infections, and this could be a factor in cancer and other things. During human development, it's rare to find excess amounts because growing children have constant needs for iron. But once people have reached adulthood, that amount of iron required by the body is significantly less. Now you might be wondering, how do you know your iron levels? How do you know if they're high? How do you know if they're low? Well, there's a test called serum ferritin determination. It's a standard way to check for iron levels, and as iron accumulates in the body, cells respond by producing more of the protein ferritin. Ferritin is kind of like a storage vehicle for iron. Higher levels of ferritin usually correspond with larger amounts of stored iron. Here is the big problem, though. If you have this run by your physician and they're looking at your so-called normal levels of ferritin, they're usually not so normal at all. Reference ranges incorporate sick people. This is the problem with standard deviation or averages. What they're looking at is they're mostly comprised of sick people. They don't really know what a healthy person looks like. So, what they're looking at typically in men is between 15 nanograms per milliliter and 300 nanograms per milliliter. And in women, they're looking at ranges of 15 nanograms per milliliter and 200 nanograms per milliliter. These are just too wide, too broad. So this is a problem. What are you really looking for? What you really want to see your ferritin is somewhere in the bottom range of 40 or 50 nanograms per milliliter. And you don't really want to see anything above 100. You really want to kind of keep it under 70 nanograms per milliliter if you can. So are there benefits to removing iron, and can it be done? The answer is yes and yes. It has been determined that levels above 50 nanograms per milliliter are simply unnecessary for normal human physiology. There are benefits of removing iron, and these benefits include things like reducing bacterial growth, reducing arterial inflammation, which is, by the way, caused by bacteria, which is the major underlying causes of cardiovascular disease. And you might be interested to know that women really don't get much of a risk of a heart attack until they reach menopause, simply due to the fact that iron is a big issue. Now, studies have also shown that healthy males benefit from reducing their iron levels because it reduces oxidative stress, which is fewer free radicals. So what proof do we have that reducing iron actually does anything at all? Well, examined was a group of 1,277 men and postmenopausal women. They are ranging in age from 43 to 87, all diagnosed with peripheral artery disease, otherwise known as PAD. They were divided into 2 groups, one of which underwent the blood phlebotomy, or releasing of blood or donation of blood. The other received no treatment at all. That was the control group. The treatment group, they donated 1 unit of blood every 6 months for 6 years. And upon conclusion of the study, it was found that individuals aged 43 to 61 who underwent this blood donation or blood phlebotomy, they experienced a 54% reduction in death rates from all causes. Additionally, the phlebotomy group or blood donation group experienced a 57% reduction in death from non-fatal heart attacks and strokes. Now, in other studies, carotid arteriosclerosis, or occlusion of the arteries in the neck, or the neck arteries, was found to be positively associated with blood ferritin levels. In other words, the more ferritin, iron storage of iron in your blood, a higher level of neck artery occlusion or blockages are found. Let's take a look at diabetes and iron levels. Are they correlated? Well, phlebotomy or blood donation has been shown to reduce blood glucose or triglycerides and fibrinogen levels while increasing high-density lipoprotein or the good cholesterol HDL. And in animal research, iron reduction by chelation or dietary restriction reduces arterial plaque lesions, and excess iron was found to damage the kidneys and the brain tissue. And in a Finnish study of men who donated a single unit of blood within the previous 3 years, they found a 30% reduction in cardiovascular disease risk. Do not despair if blood phlebotomy is out of the question or blood donation is out of the question for you. There are other treatment options available, and pay special attention if you have a gene mutation or suspect one of C28.2Y homozygous, because this can cause iron hoarding in the liver. This is a dysfunctional thing that can be corrected. We will underscore these solutions in the written portion. And be aware that there are other benefits to blood donation or blood phlebotomy, other than actually getting rid of iron. What are they? Well, your body takes 120 days to manufacture red blood cells. Towards the end of that life, they start to become inflexible, they become rigid. And the microcapillary system is so narrow, so thin, that they have to go through single file line just to fit through. This can cause some life-threatening situations you can only imagine. You also get rid of cytokines, inflammatory cytokines that can cause part of a disease process. So when you're getting rid of the excess blood, you're getting rid of the more than just the iron. And this is why people seem to recover from illness and simply prolong their life dramatically.